Good evening. You have to put up with me just for a couple of minutes before the start. So for those of you who don't know me or who are new to Fletcher, my name is Rachel Kite. I'm the Dean here, and I'm really pleased to be able to welcome all of you to this event this evening, and a particular warm welcome to our special guest, Ivan Alexeyev. Better known as Noize MC. So this event has been organised by the Russia and Eurasia Program here at Fletcher, co-directed by Professor Chris Miller and Dan Dresner, and managed by the erstwhile and always creative Arek Burkowski. It's dedicated to teaching and research on a broad range of both historical and contemporary issues related to Russia, Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and the Caucasus. Our mission is to educate future scholars and practitioners to generate the cutting-edge scholarly analysis that we need for this complicated world, and to foster the cooperation with institutions across the region. We've also pulled off this evening's event with the Tufts Department of Music, chaired by Professor Richard Jankowski, and I'm really delighted that we were able to work with the music department. Music studies here at Tufts are integrative, and tonight's conversation is a perfect example of how we work together across the university in a cross-disciplinary, educational and cross-cultural communication way. This semester, we also launched a cultural diplomacy initiative here at Fletcher, led by Professor Carla Canales, who couldn't be here today due to COVID. She's an opera singer and has been an arts envoy for the US State Department. It is an educator globally on soft power and cultural diplomacy. So this event also fits into something that we're beginning to develop here at Fletcher as we think about all of the dimensions of soft power and all of the ways in which we can communicate with each other. This evening's conversation, which will be moderated by Oleg Shakirov, who is a visiting scholar here, will not only focus on Ivan's unique music and poetry, but on his blacklisting in Russia over the past decade, his resistance to Russian authorities, his support for jailed anti-corruption activist Alexei Navalny, his opposition to Russia's war against Ukraine, and much more. As Russia's assault on Ukraine continues, Fletcher is committed to promoting dialogue about an advancing understanding of the conflict and its origins, and I hope over how to build a peaceful and green and clean and modern and dynamic Ukraine. We do so through a combined effort both inside and beyond the classroom, supporting faculty who share their expertise through the media, counselling, governments and international organisations, and hosting events that will allow us to deepen our knowledge of Russia, of Ukraine, the wider region and of the people. We're humbled to support fellow academics and to provide a temporary destination, a safe space and a home for them to continue their research and scholarship. This semester, I'm really proud that we host 5 visiting scholars from Russia and 1 from Ukraine, and we're working to build a network of experts to promote the rule of law, peace, and security. As this war rages on, the lines of communication between Russia and the West are increasingly severed. When the Russian government ramps up repression to clamp down on internal dissent, it is the voices of anti-war artists and activists that will serve to remind us that there are different perspectives within Russian society. This is true in every war. Through their art, prominent cultural figures like Noize MC have the potential to affect hearts and minds, to counter misinformation and to encourage peace building. They will be the peace builders. While the ultimate resolution of any conflict lies in the realm of politics, it requires the work of many individuals, including musicians and poets, to advance understanding, to seek out the truth, and to foster reconciliation. As an institution committed to increasing understanding through diverse perspectives, it's really important that we were able to host tonight's discussion. This is a war that often gets portrayed as a war between democracy and autocracy. It's not the only conflict in the world portrayed that way. But we have to examine carefully, I think, the impunity with which a state can act in its oppression of its people domestically and in the way in which it flaunts international law. And we have to look inside ourselves as we set ourselves up as bastions of democracy and therefore ones that are right, on how we need to improve our own democracy, our own accountability, and our own fight against impunity at home and abroad. So on that note, I hand the floor over to Oleg, who is going to be in conversation with Noize MC. Oleg, the floor is yours.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Yeah, no, I'm super happy to have everyone here. And as a moderator of today's event, I would like to start with a short biography of his. So before becoming Noize MC, he was first known as simply as Ivan. Some of you might know that. He was born in the Smolensk region and then spent most of his childhood in Belgorod, which is a city in western part of Russia, just across the border from Kharkov in Ukraine. Inspired by such acts as Nirvana and Prodigy, he got into music as a teenager first and rose to early fame with local rock and rap bands. After graduating from high school in the early 2000s, he moved to Moscow, where he started building his music career out of a student dorm room of the Russian State University for the Humanities. So for those of you who might live in a dorm room, he's probably an inspiration. So over the 2 decades of being active in this field, he has done it all, starting from online rap battles to producing his own hip-hop opera. But most importantly, he has been consistently putting out great music, releasing 9 studio albums and multiple singles and collaboration projects. He is renowned for his sarcastic lyrics, experimental sound, and freestyling talent, as some of you already know, and some will witness firsthand today. True to the product spirit of both rock and hip-hop, Noize MC never shied away from standing up against authorities. Early in his career, he famously expressed his distaste for the first TV channel, or for all TV channels for that matter. In later years, he took a prominent stance on social and political issues, opposing injustice, state censorship, and militarism. So last winter, right after the invasion, he denounced Russia's war against Ukraine and soon left the country with his family. In spring 2022, with a fellow artist Monetochka, he launched an improvised charity tour titled Voices of Peace that ultimately raised 340,000 euros for Ukrainian refugees. So with that, I would like once again to say that we are super happy to have you here, and I would like to give floor to you, Ivan, and all of you, please welcome Ivan once again.
So yeah, that's true. I left my native country this February, right after the war started, and the first thing I produced outside Russia was a huge European tour, a charity tour to help Ukrainian refugees. And the main song of that tour for me, for my part of performance, was a song called Yardan. That means Jordan. This song was created in 2014 in collaboration with a very talented band from St. Petersburg. The name of the band is Atlantica Project. Of course, this song was dedicated to the war started by Russia in Ukraine in 2014, I mean. It resembles to a conflict between Israel and Arab countries, and the chorus is in translation that means the glaciers will melt, the Jordan will re-water, Shalom Aleichem, Aleikum Salam. So Shalom Aleichem, it means peace to you in Hebrew, and Aleikum Salam is the answer in Arabic, like peace to you too. So these languages are very similar actually, and these people are similar too. So, but this song is mostly about Russians and Ukrainians. So I would like to start with this song here.
Ледники растают, восполнится и отдам. О, все помирятся, шалом алейкум, алейкум салам. Ледники растают, восполнится и отдам. О, все помирятся, шалом алейкум, алейкум салам. В камуфляжные пятна опять на экранах сложатся пиксели. Очереди автоматные многократно. Звукорежиссер приглушит миксе. И снова голос закадровый. Невероятную правду нам о врагах наших расскажет. Слова свои сплатные, то нам прохладным читая в наших. И ни на одном листе байсом не откроются неудобные ссылки. Как дети бойца, спешащего в маме домой в коробке из цинка. С ухмылкой директор кровавого цирка билетные корешки считает. Но ледники растают, ледники растают. Ледники растают, восполнится и отдам. О, все помирятся, шалом алейкум, алейкум салам. Ледники растают, восполнится и отдам. О, все помирятся, шалом алейкум, алейкум салам. Голый король обещает всем подданным на зиму теплые вещи. С открытыми ртами народ рукоплещет в восторге от пламенной речи. От холода губы все трещины, на ветру дрожат голые плечи. Но дар убеждений и силы, все третий год ждут обещанного. Он обвиняет врага и в стучащих зубах, и в узорах на окнах. Волы за врага не спешит возвращаться назад, перелетные стаи. И чем дольше он говорит, тем сильнее и страшнее натиск ветров холодных. Но ледники растают, ледники растают, ледники растают, восполнится и отдам. О, все помирятся, шалом алейкум, шалом алейкум, шалом алейкум. Ва алейкум салам, ва алейкум салам, ва алейкум салам, ва алейкум салам. Thank you so much. So, to be honest, it's much more easier for me to start with music. And thanks a lot for your applause. Happy to see you all here. And I would like to tell a bit more about my childhood because it's closely connected to what I'm doing now. Well,
As it's been said, I grew up right by the Ukrainian border. I lived in Belgrade, which is just 80 kilometers away from Kharkiv. So it's 40 kilometers to the border, 40 kilometers up the border is going to be Kharkiv. So Belgrade is not a big city. It's like 3 or 400,000 people in there. And Kharkiv is second largest city in Ukraine and it's the former capital of the country. So it was our closest megapolis. Not Moscow, not St. Petersburg, but Kharkiv. And that meant a lot, especially in terms of street culture and in terms of what I was doing. My band was the first rap act in the city. And at the same time, we had no any infrastructure for rap bands there, or there was no rap scene at all. And at the same time, in Kharkiv, there were a couple of very big, like countrywide festivals where different rappers, b-boys, graffiti artists could compete and show their art. So our dream was to get there, to visit all those festivals, all those parties, unbelievable events, and then we turned back to Belgrade and got a punch in your face because your pants are too wide. Of course, we were super fond of Kharkiv, and huge crowds were moving constantly back and forth to one direction and back just to spend the weekend in a bigger city, to have a cheaper shopping, to visit relatives and friends. And many of us just lived like in two cities at the same time. No one could imagine at those times what a disaster we're about to face like in 15 years. So it's not just weird to me, it's a big tragedy, and I just can't believe it happened. I learned that the war started not from the news. My cousin wrote me that he finished his work at night, and he wrote me an SMS like, "We'll launch rockets to Ukraine right now." 2 hours later, I opened my phone and read the news and realized that that unbelievable tragedy started in full. My ancestors were Ukrainian. My grandpa is Ukrainian. He never actually spoke Ukrainian, but he understood a lot, and he showed me Ukrainian alphabet and explained me the reading rules. So I was fascinated by Ukrainian language culture, and of course, all of us listened to lots of Ukrainian music, which was actually predominantly in Russian, but of course in Ukrainian too. And that sounded cool for us. It was charismatic. It was interesting. When I turned 17 and entered the university in Moscow, I left Belgrade, and suddenly I realized that Muscovites don't understand some words I use because it was Ukrainians, and my accent sounded Ukrainian to them. And I always considered myself 100% Russian, but in Moscow, like I wasn't. It was an interesting feeling. Actually, I dreamed about writing something in Ukrainian for maybe 10 years or more. But, you know, many Russian propagandists and just regular people, they have such a stupid stereotype that Ukrainian is like village Russian. It's not at all. It's a complicated and full-scale language, which is very interesting, which differs from Russian a lot. So that way was very long, and at the moment I have only one song in Ukrainian. It's called Voodoo. It was written, I started writing it in Mariupol a year and a half ago when I was at the festival there. It was a great festival, by the way. They had a great lineup, and I visited that festival 5 years in a row. And last time I was there in August 2021. So the song is called Voodoo, and the main image in the lyrics is a voodoo puppet, which is very similar to that evil wizard who's putting needles in it. So it's a metaphor of what was going on between Russians and Ukrainians during all this time. And now the song sounds even like it was written just a couple of months ago. I'm going to change my guitar to perform it. Just wait a minute. I hope it. Yeah, by the way, I bought this guitar in Los Angeles, and I go with it through all the tour, and right every new venue I'm playing, I'm gonna do the same thing after I finish this performance. I'm doing it because this guitar is gonna be, gonna put it into an auction to make charities. Follow our social media and maybe you'll be the buyer, okay?
Лягу в руці до болю, схожа, наче луна, устромляється в ціль, голка довга, наче війна. Не воскреснуть мерці, скільки зомбі на плоти, сморщі на чужому лиці, лікувати доручено молодим, поки сперечаються мудреці, чи Рим, хто придумав латинь, мура хочеться мав, сілля люте парить в котлі, назад летить бумеранг за принципом зворотньої петлі, перемога чи зрада, game over, чи mission complete, крутить люхери правди, описаних сміс, вирісні змі, правді слухає брата, прірва шириться, ейгом творимо суд, близьким, як голови, а в руках падають суму, цілком не стане наші мови. Слухай, якщо ти чуєш, Боже, пробач нам наші гріхи. Ще говоримо сумні, різними мовами, як вороги. Відміряй сім разів, один раз відріж, одна дупа, два стільці, не сідай біж. Вибери яку скроню, розрядити патрони, а постанцю на віру полі покажи тролі. Кожне слово, як у мозку, патограмний трон. Прийшов цирку, що так лавить голову сілам свір. Та змірний канато ходить, ми тут всі за мир. І будемо за нього аж до ядерної зими. Що значить ми собі гадимо самі. Нема ніяких нас окремо, ви окремо ми. творимося різними мовами, як вороги, а у вухах матері сонце понад хрестами нашим могилам. Слухай, якщо ти чуєш, може пробач нам наші гріхи. Ще говоримося різними мовами, як вороги. I had some issues with the Russian authorities and police even before 2014, but after I supported Ukraine when I was in Lviv as a headliner of the very popular Ukrainian festival in August of 2013 and supported Ukraine there, I was banned in Russia. So I've been somehow blacklisted during last 8 years. Well, that fall of 2014, it was our big Russian-wide tour. And we had like 60% of our gigs canceled. Canceled in different manners. Usually it happens like you're about to come to the city and some people just call to the venue and first they tell you, you shouldn't have this artist here. When people start asking questions, what's the reason? They were told like, you're gonna lose your alcohol license, or you're gonna have some troubles with firemen, or just don't do it, and that's it. So some of organizers and venue owners, they just gave up at that point. Some of them kept trying to make it work. So it looked like you come to a gig, you start playing, you play like 5 songs. After that, you have a man with a gun on the stage and full ammunition, and a couple of guys in regular fit with their police IDs. And they say something like, we've got a special operation here. We're looking for drug users, drug sellers, and all the stuff. Please stop the concert. And now we're starting to like check all the audience. That kind of attitude to us continued during like 2 or 3 years. After that, somehow it was quite easy years. And of course, now I'm totally blacklisted. I can't perform in Russia. It came to this point finally, like almost 2 years ago, after I supported Alexei Navalny. Right after that, we couldn't play anymore. Almost couldn't. 37 shows were planned,
and we played 4 of them. So, and maybe 2 weeks ago, it was announced that I'm now considered to be a foreign agent in Russia. Being a foreign agent, well, it's something similar to what the enemy of people meant in Stalin's Soviet Union. In practice, that means that I have to write that on all my social medias and starting every public scene, I have to mention that this message is created and spread by a foreign agent. I'm not going to do this. I don't live in Russia anymore. It may cause troubles because after some violations, I may start being considered to be a violator, and it may cause to restrictions like I can't visit countries that make extradition to Russia. But so the next song I'm about to perform is called "The Song of the Traitor," and this song was written a year ago, before this all started, like a full-scale nightmare. But this song sounds like it was written yesterday, I think.
Задеть чьих-то чувств, и вот поэтому я молчу. Ведь стоит рот открыть хоть чуть-чуть, я тотчас кого-нибудь огорчу. Ранимый ОМОН без нежных лент и очень чувствительный президент. За тем, чтобы их ничем не расстроил я, следит обидчивая гребня. И пусть на лубянке проверят внимательно эту гнусную песню предателя. Уж давно бы пора наказать его показательно. И вообще встать, что там в карманах, что там с налогами, почему его раньше не трогали. Нужен новый предатель с налогами. Просканируйте каждую щель, просканируйте каждую щель, просканируйте каждую щель. Хотел в окно посмотреть на двор, но запрещает Роскомнадзор. На эту песню мы снимем клип без звука, синенький логотип. На весь экран 5 минут подряд такой вот трек и видеоряд. А каждый, кто его припозднет, сразу получит штраф и условно год. И пусть голубянки проверят внимательно эту гнусную песню предателя. Уж давно бы пора наказать его показательно. И вообще, кстати, что тут в карманах, а что там с налогами? Почему его раньше не трогали? Нужен новый с предательским логами. Просканируйте каждую щель, просканируйте каждую щель, просканируйте каждую щель. Положили пол-лицо на спецназовцы. Мы дрожим листом осенним осиновым. Они ищут запрещенное за фазациями. Уж все книжки из шкафов почти вынули. Публицистика, фантастика, классика. Гарри Поттер, Мандельштам, Фрэнсис Коппола. Все, меж чем ни в жизни выявить связь никак. Как ни попадя валяется по полу. Говорила ты мне, Ванечка, ну зачем? Не дают же вроде жить, прости господи. Нету все, что ни Гитлер, ни Пиночет. Не вороны с Тиматюна, весь в спинах. Мы дрожим листом осенним осиновым. Коля не виноват, то и не отмазаться. Лучше б я молчал, родная, прости меня. Дома был такой уют без спецназовцев.
Well, my wife was so much against releasing the song a year ago. It was an unbelievable scandal, actually. And the last verse you heard was written, yeah, it's based on the scandal, actually. So I'm going to translate a bit, yeah, what was going on here. So the first verse is about like, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and that's why I'm silent. I don't tell anything because all those cops, all those authorities, and of course the president are so sensitive persons that I just don't want to hurt them. The chorus is about like, let those KGB guys, FSB guys, no matter what, at Lubyanka, attentively check the lyrics of the song. And why is this guy still free? So is the chorus. The second verse is about Roskomnadzor. Roskomnadzor is such an institution or committee, or, well, it's actually the source of censorship in Russian. It's Roskomnadzor. And the second verse is based on a punch like, I wanted just to take a look at the window on the air, but it's banned by Roskomnadzor. It's prohibited to do this. And the third verse is about how all those SWAT guys, I mean Russian SWAT, SWAT, go to my flat and look for something prohibited among the bookshelves. And it's about how all those books lie on the ground, like Harry Potter, Mandelstam, and all the books that could never be connected to each other. They all lie all together on the floor. And there is a part about my wife telling, I told you, Vanya, why are you doing that? We're just live like, okay, maybe you could be silent like in the first verse. Well, 3 minutes and so much explanation, sorry for that. So, as I started speaking about the family, I'd like to perform a song which is called Quarrel Behind the Wall. It's written from the point of view of a kid whose parents are about to divorce. It's an autobiographic song, and initially it's like a rap rock song, but I made a version where I just play piano. I'm gonna play that acoustic one.
Кто из них прав, мне все равно, ведь они оба мне нужны. Я засыпать привык давно, подруга не со стены. А прыги серьезных взрослых слов уже не мешают мне видеть сны. Я засыпать привык давно, подруга не со стены. Мне снова приснится, что я смело набираю высоту. Это так смешно, раз я летаю, значит я расту. Город ни за что в мою комнату впустит темноту. И я покину дом, сквозь потолок уйду. Через квартиры соседей, мимо антенн на крышу нашей 9-этажки. Это совсем не трудно и не страшно. Все дома внизу как будто из кубиков сложено. А я, наверное, оттуда кажусь размером с горошину. Машины ездят крошечные, как игрушечные. В любую, кажется, можно пальцем подушечками нацепиться и погнать чую, куда захочется. Прямо как в песочнице. Мой полет не кончится, пока я утром не вернусь на ночь старше став. Пока мама с папой не выяснит, кто из них прав. Они меня не замечают за стеклом оконным. Друг на друга лая, как пара собак пистонных. Спорят на повышенных тонах, снова что-то делят. И думаю, что постели, а я не здесь. Я там, где облака и звезды. И не беда, что мне гулять нельзя так поздно. И кто из них прав, мне все равно, ведь они оба мне нужны. Я засыпать привык давно, подруга не со стены. А прыги серьезных взрослых слов уже не мешают мне видеть сны. Я засыпать привык давно, подруга не со стены. Мне снова приснится, что я смело набираю высоту. Это так смешно, раз я летаю, значит я расту. Город и за что в мою комнату впустит темноту. И я покину дом, сквозь потолок уйду. Рассвет оторвет нового дня, темную упаковку с того же края, что вчера привычным движением ловким к автобусным остановкам потопают фигурки. С кухни подтянет крепкий кофе из маминой турки. Это значит, летать уже хватит. Скоро в садик, кто на меня ждет, посадочная полоса кровати. Когда я приземлюсь, они уже будут не вместе. Я стану маленьким оружием в большой месте, умеющим делать больно против собственной воли. Мечом футбольным, летающим над полем, от игрока к игроку, от ворот к воротам. Мама, папа, я не хочу таких полетов. Никто из вас про мне все равно, вы оба мне нужны. Я засыпать привык давно, подруга не со стены. Обрывки серьезных взрослых слов уже не мешают мне видеть сны. Я засыпать привык давно, подруга не со стены. Мне снова приснится, что я смело набираю высоту. Это так смешно, раз я летаю, значит я расту. Город из-за штор, мою комнату впустит темноту. И я покину дом, сквозь потолок уйду.
So the chorus means something like, I don't care who's right, who's wrong, because I need them both. And before February 2022, performing the song, I often dedicated it to what happens between Russia and Ukraine. Now, I think we're in the point where, like, daddy stabs mom with a knife in the belly. So I don't do it anymore. My favorite thing when I was a kid was reading to sci-fi. And I've got many songs with lyrics referring to some space prevalence, things like that. And now it's going to be the space part. Okay. So the song I'm about to sing is called Voyager 1, Voyager again in Russian. Does everybody know what Voyager 1 is? It's a space probe. It's a space, American space probe, guys. Launched from Earth on the 5th of September, 1977. And it's the most distant artificial object from Earth made by human. It has a special disc, a golden disc on board, with the records of sounds of Earth. It was created to maybe one day meet another civilization and to pass them some information about our planet. Voyager 1 is the main image of the lyrics of the song. It's written from the point of view of Voyager 1. And I wrote the song. When I wrote the song, I dedicated it to my mother, who died 12 years ago. But nowadays, this song sounds like it's about refugees, about people who lost their home and have no hope to come back. It's the first song on my last album, which is called Exit to the City. And it's my main sci-fi song at the moment, I think.
лет прошло, холод жжет в груди. Эй, земля, Оля, Voyager 1, выходи на связь, срочно выходи. Нас китан слазь по Млечному пути. Да так и не сумел себе найти другой ориентир. До тебя теперь миллиарды звезд, и сверхновых нет среди старых звезд. Все как second-hand, а мне надо first. Я незваный гость, изучаю здесь внеземную жизнь через линзы слез. И звучит как песня тишина в твоем ответе. В моем горле полностью ветер поле размером 100 квадратных световых тысячелетий. И я не на твоей орбите. Меня сносит звездный ветер вдаль, за горизонт твоих событий. И клином сходится след на дальней точке, там позади. Самый лучший из возможных планет, но только там ее давно уже нет. Ее уже не найти, клином сходится след на дальней точке, там позади. Но самый лучший из возможных планет, но только там ее давно уже нет. Только призрачный свет. Ребрами прикрыв черную дыру, все наши миры прямо в ней сожру. Ни один потом не сбежит уже. Дурак он на том грузом на душе. Как притащу, надо же, я тебя прошу. Хоть один сигнал, импульс хоть один. Выходи на связь, срочно выходи. Мне не вывести вакуум кругом, явно по уши. Эй, земля, алло, милый дом, услышь мой бой уже. Это Voyager, тишина в твоем ответе. В моем горле полностью ветер боль размером 100 квадратных световых тысячелетий. Я не на твоей орбите. Меня сносит звездный ветер вдаль, за горизонт твоих событий. И клином сходится след на дальней точке, там позади. Самый лучший из возможных планет, но только там я давно уже нет. Ее уже не найти, клином сходится след на дальней точке, там позади. Самый лучший из возможных планет, но только там ее давно уже нет. Призрачный свет, ее уже не найти.
Well, I've got many anti-war songs which were written in different times, and now I'm going to perform maybe the oldest one. I wrote it in 2009 in airplane. We had a gig in Vladivostok, which is in the Far East, and it's like nine hours flight from Moscow. I just wrote the song all the time. I was in the plane. It's called "It's Awesome on Mars." It's a sci-fi song which tells about how Martian civilization was destroyed by nuclear war. And of course, there is a comparison to what's going on Earth. It's awesome on Mars, or "На Марсе классно." In Russian, it's going to be "На Марсе классно." and of course, it consists NASA sounds in the intro. Классно, красные пески, крутые горы и кратеры, безумно красивые каналы рядом с экватором. Ничто не сравнится с тамошними закатами, правда холодновато и давление, мягко говоря, низковатое. Зато две луны на небе и очень яркие звезды. Это из-за низкой плотности воздуха. Жаль, что так поздно земляне получили снимки с этой прекрасной планеты. Тут было еще прикольнее до местного конца света. Летом цвели пышным цветом диковинные растения. Невиданно высокие из-за слабого притяжения. Шумели гигантскими кронами в лесах, скверах и парках. И в их тени прятались местные жители, как-то жарко. Они были похожи на нас. Не во всем, конечно, но все-таки в целом без какой-то там оголтелой экзотики. На форму ушей, пальцы рук другие по длине. Но умирать им было так же страшно, как тебе или мне. Марс, бог войны, не слышащий молитвы. Вали Олимпа, Пушкина, волчок убитвы в топку. Военные карты с планами наступлений. Засыпаем окопы, разбираем укрепления. Марс, бог войны, не слышащий молитвы. Вали Олимпа, Пушкина, волчок убитвы в топку. Военные карты с планами наступлений. Засыпаем окопы, разбираем укрепления. Египтяне в спешке ворочали каменные блоки. Пирамида не шутка, тут нельзя не уложиться в сроки. Они орошали посевы, делали из тростника папирус. Уверены, что им помогают в этом рае Осирис. А на красной точке, под синим-черном южном небе ночном, пока рабы отдыхали от проделанного днем, пока жрецам снились пленницам фараону кошмары. Самолеты и ракеты заполоняли радары. Пару ударов, еще пара попытка перехвата. Забавная все-таки штука, этот ваш мирный атом. Высокие технологии, культура богатая. А теперь только красные пески, крутые горы и кратеры. Безумно красивые каналы рядом с экватором. Но некому больше любоваться тамошними закатами. Крутятся вокруг солнца рыжий безжизненный глобус, а вокруг него в свою очередь Деймос и Фобос. Марс, бог войны, не слышащий молитвы. Вали Олимпа, Пушкина, волчок убитвы в топку. Военные карты с планами наступлений. Засыпаем окопы, разбираем укрепления. Марс, бог войны, не слышащий молитвы. Вали Олимпа, Пушкина, волчок убитвы в топку. Военные карты с планами наступлений. Красные пески, крутые горы и кратеры, безумно красивые каналы рядом с экватором. Ничто не сравнится с тамошними закатами. На Марсе классно. Красные пески, крутые горы и кратеры, безумно красивые каналы рядом с экватором. Ничто не сравнится с тамошними закатами. На Марсе классно. 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 So maybe one more song and we could converse a bit, like have questions from the audience, okay? Are you ready for that? Or I can play like 2 hours, it's not a problem for me. Just tell me. The song I'm about to perform is my most popular YouTube video at the moment. It's based on a sample from a called Russian rock group, which is called Гражданская оборона, and it's called "Всё как у людей." This is a song written on political and social issues in Russian. It was released 3 years ago. It was 2019. Unfortunately, it just becomes more and more relevant from year to year, unfortunately.
Вы как-то сказали, я процитирую, нам всем кажется, если навести порядок твердой жесткой рукой, то всем нам станет жить лучше, комфортнее и безопаснее. На самом деле, эта комфортность очень быстро пройдет, потому что эта жесткая рука начнет нас очень быстро душить. Начала уже? Это я сказал. Да, это вы сказали в 96-м году. Я этого не чувствую. Не душит? Нет.
Голову в коробке пластмассовой вместе с телефоном, ключами и паспортом, рентгеном, сканером, светит ласково, в целях безопасности государственной. И обратно вряд ли пришьют уже, руки ищут затылки над обрубками шеи, туловище жужжит закрутыми клетками к стенам, не видно из контейнера, что там с телом. Лето с мелким булом коробку тащит, и для тулова тоже подыщут ящик, станет странным избавленным в нем лежащий, почти покойником, почти настоящим. Кто-то, может быть, даже помянет на 40 дней. Все А девочка из конной полиции с белым айфоном на белом жеребце ждет в инстаграме лайка от принца и ждет от черной пятницы низких цен. Наверное, находится по улице, винтят демонстрации мальчики и коллеги, обсуждают рецепты подружки, убийцы в небо заблокированной телеги. А на завтра купят снеги на бочек лего для племянника на его рождение тенью. В наборе автозаки 3 человека, 2 ментов на одного, все как у людей. Все как у людей. Все как у людей. СМИ голосят, что повсюду агенты МИ-6 ЦРУ и Моссад объявляют исчадием ада звездно-полосато на Санта-50-м. Лед под ногами майора ломается легче, чем корка фалафеля. Майор не боится, майор не утонет, майор, если что, потискаты. Ты слышишь, как слева скрипят и жужжат старомодным дабстепом. Это снова словно чулки с пересветом. Нас выпьют и сухлят звездетом. А чтобы чужие боялись своих посильнее, не бей. Все как у людей. Жизнь угнетает, перестань, если кипиш реальный начнется, что будет, представь, если тут тебе не нется, беспыткин достам, хули ты все натрубаешься, в натуре достал, а дерьма на вентилятор и дышать не легче, лишь какой-то респиратор, бежать покрепче, без тебя хватает, правда, орать легко, все знают, как не надо, как быть никто, поливший бетон, ветер полунада, угрозу планетам, а надо ума палата, и на все свои взгляды, а ты что-то пиздишь, поголовно на путь, для заложенного режима, всяком во рту, продетских затяг, путь в соцсетях, пляски под чужую туку на чужих костях, ночью больше шага Газпромовских ушникал, подшитым за костякам, шикарных особняках. Миром на комнатный квартир, совмещенным санузлом, микрофон за 100 рублей, самопальному 100. Ты же выбрался оттуда, значит повезло, так фильтрую базаром можно, еще тут число, уютная коробка мещанского райка, лубочные картинки про счастье дурака, типичные сюжеты культуры суррогат, дешевка по дешевке, а шкура дорога. Ну ты давай вот спроси у своих детей, где их папа нужнее, смотрит новостей, что многие об него вытирать по телеку, или в гарнитуре, чтоб сиденье поднять у велика, скучно что ли живется без пистолей, пока кормят ешь, пока поет пей. Все как у людей.
Thank you so much. Спасибо. Дякую.
Okay. Did you guys like it or? I just.
Thank you.
I was just wondering. So I'm sure many people have questions. We have two mics here and there. Please make a line here and there. It will be easier for us. So before people make it, I will use my privilege as a moderator to ask a couple of questions. So on this poster, we have this slogan, "Rap against the machine." And in some of your songs, it feels like the protagonist fights against this Leviathan, this machine. So the state as something singular. But have you actually heard from some individuals who work for this system, some individuals who work for Roskomnadzor or for security services, who are like, Ivan, we actually like your music, but like you still will not perform, but we actually enjoyed your last album. Have you heard from them? Did you talk to individuals who work there? Do you understand them?
Actually, not last couple of years, because I think during the last couple of years, the situation became like, it's impossible for those people, I think, to come and tell me something. But I met cops who wanted to make photos with me before they arrest me, for example, something like that. It's like Eminem song, what was it? There is a line like, signing CDs while police fingerprinting. Yeah, that's about me too.
Okay, so some fans there as well. Maybe they miss your shows. Okay, so another question I had. So you mentioned, and I think this has been one of the kind of emotions that many younger Russians share, that it's an unimaginable tragedy. What is happening in Ukraine, like it's very difficult to fathom even now what is happening. And so for some people have been feeling powerless, unable to kind of move forward and do something else. But you are here, you're touring, you're putting out new music. Like, what is the emotion that is driving you, or maybe some emotions that are pushing you forward and pushing you to make more art, more songs, and just to be active?
The main emotion, the main thought behind that is, I know that I'm right. I'm sure of it.
Okay, maybe final question before we give it back to the room. So this is a question from my daughter, who is not here. She would love to see the show, but maybe sometime next year. So the question she asked is, so you're one of those artists whose songs became almost folk songs. It's not uncommon to see a person out on the streets with a guitar playing one of your old hits, which is not common for every artist. So what is your opinion about your songs traveling this way, not only through streaming services, but from other performers, maybe amateur or up-and-coming performers, but who just perform them like you once did on the streets in some cities?
Yeah, I often meet people who like bring me a guitar to sign and tell me that they started playing guitar, learning how to play, just to play my songs. And of course, I'm super fond of that. I'm proud of it. And it's much more important to me than some, I don't know, charts, money from streaming, or selling tickets to the shows. When you see a person who's just singing your song in the street, at that moment, you realize that you did something important. So I love that part of my life. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we have many people. So let's go this side and that side. So let's start with you.
Hello.
Hi.
My question is, what would you have done differently 18 years ago, knowing that a full-scale war is going to happen between Russia and Ukraine, and what's important to you now?
I would spend much more time and attention to talking to my elder relatives, to speak more on different issues happening between our countries. Because, you know, there were many times when I just decided not to talk on those topics, just not to start arguing, and just spend some time with my grandma, grandpa, and stuff like that. That's the main thing I would do in a different manner if I could turn back. And what? So as for the rest, to be honest, I think I did a lot to prevent this war, actually. So I repeated that.
Very relatable. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Let's go over here.
Thanks. Ivan, I wanted to preface the question with a thank you. I first heard your music probably about 10 years ago at a street culture festival sponsored by Snickers, the candy bar company in Kazan, Russia, and most recently today. And throughout this time, I would say in Russian that we grew on your music.
What city was it?
Kazan. Kazan? Da. So we grew on your music, and you know, we've changed over this time. Your music has evolved, you've changed, but the thank you is for remaining and being honest in your music and in your art.
Thank you so much. Wow, it's the best question so far.
So my question is, there's a phrase in Russian, "Понимать, в какой стране ты живешь," which could be translated as, well, it's a really complicated feeling, but it's a disillusionment with one's own country and the political system, as well as an understanding, a sober understanding of what things you're allowed or not allowed to do. So in your life, as you grew up and moved to university and were doing music, how did that understanding build up over time? In you know, in what situations? And how was it reflected in your music as well?
To be honest, I don't have an idea how could I become who I become, because in my family, main moral was about like, don't try to do something special, something unexpected, because it's not going to work. But I almost wanted to know where is that limit and what's behind that limit. And this intention was so deep, and it remained during all my life the main driver for me, maybe. So I guess I don't have a proper answer for this question, but the feeling behind that is this one.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi. So preface from me as well. Thank you for all your music and your position. Specifically for the last song you performed, I probably contributed to the half of the views on the YouTube of this song, personally, I mean.
Thanks a lot.
And the question, so I'm from Belarus, and pretty bad things happened there in 2020, and a lot of people fled the country. And
I know, I live in Lithuania. I see you all guys there.
Not me, probably. So a lot of people fled, and at first, most of them were saying that they're planning to come back when things get better. Now, 2 years after that, I hear more and more voices that we're probably not gonna come back. We got used to live outside of Belarus. It's different, and we like it, and most likely we're not gonna come back. How do you feel about that? I mean, in current context with Russia, obviously not with Belarus. Are you planning to come back when things get better, or there is a line after which you not gonna consider coming back?
Thanks for the question. To me, the main reason I left my native country was an opportunity to give my kids a feeling of living in a free world, to give them perspective, international perspective, and to raise them free people. And it's very, very sad, but I think that no matter when this goddamn war is about to finish, after it finishes, Russia won't become a free country like this. It's not going to happen. And they only lived their childhood once. And now it's the most important period of time for them. So, to be honest, I think that I want to raise them outside Russia, no matter what. That's what I come to.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello. Oh, hi. Thank you for this performance. So this is what living in a free world means. Yeah. There was recently your second.
Yeah, I love that kind of world.
Freedom of speech, yeah. So this is you recently gave your second interview to Yuri Duch that was published. Actually, there was a question I think he's going to ask you, but he didn't. So I will ask you.
Well, good job.
Yeah. So during your performance today, you briefly mentioned Alexei Navalny, and I want to ask: so, do you have any song dedicated to him, or like, do you have like a song which reflects like your feeling about him, or are you going to write such song?
No, I didn't think about that, but now I have to. I see. I can't apply any of my songs to him personally. I don't know, but I know he liked "Всё как у людей" much. Yeah, so maybe that one could be what you're talking about.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ivan, so thank you so much for what you do, and the music is incredible. And I'm half Ukrainian, and I have friends who are fighting on the front line in Ukraine, but I also have relatives in Russia, like my second cousin is mobilized at this point. We have no idea where he is, and his personality is the type of person who would not fight back. So he didn't do like protesting or anything. So he's just somewhere right now. So I also have friends and also connections that I've been talking to people in the Vesna movement in Russia, or just those who have been like actively taking actions within Russia by themselves, like 2 or 3 people drawing graffitis. So my question would be, do you have any message or recommendation to those guys who are risking their lives and fighting in Russia, even though they're just spreading leaflets or actually speaking up? And also to just general public, even Russians who are abroad, who have not been protesting, have not been doing anything much, unlike Belarusians or other communities that have been taking actions. Yeah.
Of course, all of us, no matter where we are, it's it's our duty to do something, and everyone have to start with something. If it's too scary for you to join protest actions, then you can donate or just speak to your relatives, to your friends, and to deliver your position and to argue with those people and to prove them they are wrong. I know that it's already dangerous in Russia, but somehow we have to do this job every day. And everyone has to find his own path and to create some ways to work on it. I'm afraid I can't offer any certain way to do this because it's so much personal, but the direction is like that. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I kind of hope that all Russians here could spread that word to other Russians as well, because I literally have friends in Russia risking their lives who I went to school together. and I have friends in Ukraine who are on the front line. And to those who are in Russia, they're really disappointed not seeing actions abroad as well. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Ivan. So first of all, I want to thank you on the behalf of a really good friend of mine, because you got him out of a post-breakup depression 8 years ago. So
Thanks.
yeah, and my question is, I believe that some time ago, Danila Poperechny in his stand-up mentioned that you had some kind of a group chat. And in that group chat, you mentioned, you dropped a song to that group chat. And people in that group chat convinced you not to release it because releasing it would mean getting the foreign agent status immediately. And so
Yeah, and he was such an asshole talking about this publicly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize for that. Yeah. So since
Not you.
yeah. So since you got the foreign agent status anyway, do you mind? Do you mind telling what was the song? Are you going to release it eventually, or have you heard it already? Or
It's too late to release it because it was good when it was written, but now it's too late for the song. The main thing about the song is that the song of the traitor, which was performed here tonight, wouldn't ever exist if that story wouldn't happen. So everything happens for a reason.
okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is Val and I'm from Kazakhstan. I just wanted to say that I don't have any questions, but by listening to your songs, I have a lot of answers. And thank you so much for that. Another thing I wanted to share today is that I remember myself and my friend Vika walking in Kazakhstan in a very, very small province there and singing your song Monkey Business. Wow. And I really want to share right now that with Vika because this is a very, very special moment for me that I see you in person today. And another thing, maybe you don't need a lot of encouragement right now because you have a lot of people surrounding you and saying, come on, let's go. But I just wanted to let you know that this is the nice place, and anywhere you go out of Russia, you will see people encouraging you and saying, come on, let's go. You got it. Because all of us here experiencing the same emotion without being present in our land, without being present to our family, to our closest family members, friends. And I'm really worried about Russia right now, and I'm really into Ukraine. And I'm really glad that you, the person who's spreading this out and showing your fight for the country and the people over there by saying that we are not right and all of us can do something and contribute our word to it. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for these words. Thanks a lot.
Hey, my question will be a little bit different, but I was curious for so many years. I will still use my opportunity to ask this. So as you mentioned, you have lots of songs about sci-fi, and as a PhD in astrophysics, I was always curious how you used all this physics and astronomy terms so accurately. I mean, I'm fascinated, honestly. I was wondering, do you have any experts behind, like, besides you? I don't know, how do you do
it? Maybe you did PhD in astrophysics as well?
No, I didn't. Actually, talking of my latest sci-fi song, Voyage 1, I wrote it after my elder son. He was 11 at that time, I guess, or 10. He was fascinated by Lucy and Stephen Hawking's books. And he told me, Father, do you know anything about Voyage 1? And I told him, yeah, I know something. And he started asking me whether I know this thing about it or that thing about it. And I failed. And after that, I took his book and wrote that song in maybe 2 or 3 hours or so.
It's amazing.
Thanks a lot.
Can I have a follow-up question on Voyager? So there is this theory that maybe it was not a good idea to send this spacecraft out somewhere, because if we find like an alien civilization that is kind of not
guy, it's us. Come, please.
Yeah.
Come here.
What's
There's
your
a lot
opinion?
of food.
Would you, if it was up to you, like, would you send a Voyager? What would you put on it?
I've got the song Voyager 1. What would I put in it? I wrote it to put it on Voyager 3.
Thanks.
Hi, I also wanted to start with a thank you. I moved to the States at 13, which was slightly before a lot of the anti-Putin immigration wave, and felt very alone in that, and sort of grown up also on your music. You know, like Ruben Izistini was something that got me through my parents fighting when I was, you know, a teenager, and sort of going through that. And then now sort of thinking more of that, you know, sense of losing your homeland as a place that, you know, I think early on I had a lot of naive thoughts of like, maybe one day things will get better, you know, and then you know, I watched my dad with like a gaze of like, maybe Russia will be next. And then, you know, that seems very silly now. And I'm wondering how, this is a sort of more of a personal question, you know, I'm expecting to have a son in a couple of months, and I'm thinking about more and more of like, how do I tell him about where, you know, his mom's side of the family is from? And I'm curious, you know, as you have young kids and you sort of are thinking of, you know, you talked a lot about raising them in the free world and sort of how to give them that freedom of being somewhere else and forming into their own people. But how do you talk to them about where you're from? I know they're older, but, you know, and they've seen some of it, but how do you sort of go about that journey of having them understand and have some pride in their heritage, but also know the bad things and the nuance of it, and sort of see that you know, crazy path that Russia's been on for centuries of just like descending into the same authoritarian patterns and oppressing so many people?
Well, as for my kids, they don't have any illusions about what's going on, and we don't sweeten, you know, that pill. For example, my elder son, when we just moved, constantly repeated almost every day, like in the evening, you're just walking with the family, and suddenly he says something like, "Putin has stole my country." So they understand what's going on. They understand where they are from, and they're so much connected to their Russian friends. Some of them had to move from the country as well, just like them. And I don't think I have to do something special to talk with them on those topics, because they're, well, you know, war makes people grow mentally much faster, and of course they're affected by these processes too. So we just speak with them like they're the same age as us, almost like this. So that's the answer. Thanks.
Hi, Vanya. Before I ask my question, I have two comments. The first one is thank you so much for the concert yesterday. It was amazing. I know there are a lot of people here who went to the concert as well.
Thanks.
The second comment is I wanted to congratulate you on being recognized as a foreign agent, because we all know that it's a sign of quality today in our country. And my question is about Lithuania and your new life, so to say, there. So I was curious to ask, why did you choose Lithuania specifically? Because we know that there are so many immigrants in Armenia, in Turkey, from Russia. And was it hard for you to adjust to life there, and maybe to language there? Yeah.
It's a very good question. Actually, it was me who chose Lithuania, because Lithuania chose me. And it happened a year ago when I have no idea how to call this institution in English. Следственный комитет. how can I translate it?
Investigative committee.
Investigative committee, and its head, Alexander Bastrykin, initiated checking of my lyrics and finding there some traces of extremism, Nazism, rehabilitation, and other crazy stuff. So, and at that point, it was December 2021, Lithuanian Human Rights Organization offered visas D for all my family due to that issue. So after that, we moved to Mexico to just wait what was going to happen because no one knew. After that, in February, we came back to Russia and the war started. We understood that we had to move like very fast. So we went to Lithuanian embassy and they just gave us those visas and we moved to Vilnius. And I'm super fond of the country, of the people, of the culture, and actually there are lots of Russian speakers there. So on one side, on one hand, I don't feel an alien there at all, because Lithuanians I meet, most of them can speak Russian somehow, and these people are very kind and they are always ready to help. And I faced amazing hospitality there. My kids already have many friends there, and I'm happy to be there, actually. I love Vilnius, I love Lithuania. It's a great country and great people.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Ваня, спасибо.
Поговорим приватно, да, чтобы никто не догадался.
Okay, let me switch to English. Thanks for the lecture and like for the concert yesterday. Was amazing.
Thanks a lot.
Big fan for many years. I'm sure like many people here. You mentioned answering the question earlier today that you wish you talked to your family more about what's going on, right? But we all know that it's damn hard to do that. Like I have like relatives who like it's unbearable, like impossible to talk to, like impossible to like change their mind. But I guess my question is, are you planning to I guess release any songs about propaganda, or like is it like in your mind at all, or maybe something like another version of Из окна, первый, второй и третий канал of 2022. I don't know if that's in your mind at all to come up with something like that at this point, but just curious.
Yeah, I'm going to. Me, Monetochka, and Vita Isaev, we started the band, which is called Voices of Peace, just as like our charity tour was named. And now we're finishing our second single. We're waiting for the video clip, and that video will be released like in a week or two, and it's about propaganda. So yes, I'm going to do it.
Looking forward.
Thanks.
Okay, I will also say thank you so much for your performance and that you came today and that you stayed with us yesterday after the concert, even though you were so tired. So my question is kind of related to the wonderful Russia of the future. I know like a lot of my friends are really hopeful about it, and they think that this future is nearby, while I was also kind of hopeful during 2020, 2021, witnessing all of those protests, you know, like hundreds of thousands of people walking down the streets. But after the war started, there were I saw quite a lot of people supporting all of this, and there are lots of people who are like not really supporting this, but they are okay. And I'm wondering, like, do you think this future is near, and is it possible for like Russian community to change into more like thinking it's bad, but we can deal with it, and rather into I want to live better. I want to have a better life. I deserve it.
I think that it's going to be a long process. Unfortunately, I think it won't happen earlier than in 20 years or so. I think we're going to have another generation gap. So to fix it somehow. And that's why I told that I'm not about to come back to Russia with my kids, because now they're 10 and 12. And next 10 years are extremely important in terms of what kind of persons are they going to grow. So I think, yeah, I think it's 20 years at least. It depends on how soon will this regime end. I think from this point, it's gonna be like 15 years more. 15, 17, I don't know. That's my feeling. Maybe it's not too optimistic, but that's how I feel this problem.
Thank you. I kind of also feel this way. I just really hope that people can feel that they deserve better.
And I need that we, all Russians who are now outside the country, we have to become, like a whole entity to start more relations between us to fight against all this nightmare. Actually, it's our task for now.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Это так мило.
Hi, Ivan. Thank you so much for yesterday. I can speak better right now, but in the morning it was totally killed. So my question not gonna be about politics. First time I hear your song, it was a Arbat song. He was playing guitar and some jamming. It was, I believe, 12 years ago.
12 years ago? So
the video was uploaded to YouTube 12 years ago. Maybe
no, I think if it was Arbat, probably it was like 2005, 2006, something like this. Yeah.
So anyway, we're the same age. So you're 37, me too. But the question is, you known like the straight guy, right? So you got your thoughts and that's it. So no matter what, you're going straight. If you see something illegal or something like something bad, you got your thoughts, you show it, you explain that it's not right. For example, song Mercedes S666 and 10 days in the heaven when you was sitting in a jail and making songs. So you show everybody that's it's not right. The question is how you find the energy to move straight, no matter what.
From you guys. From you.
Thank you. Yeah, because everything what's going on right now, it shows who is who. So a lot of people who we've been thinking they're really cool guys, they know what are they doing, show that they're not really cool guys. But you is an example of the person who always moves straight. So looking at such people like you, we can say that we got that energy too. So please keep going, show what you can do and make people be proud of you. So both sides, Ukraine and Russia, Belarus and other countries, post-Soviet Union countries who speak Russian, Ukrainian and other languages.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
So, thank you very much. Of course, I want to start with thanks because this kind of events is, I believe they are really important. I myself, like a Russian living outside Russia for quite a long time, I feel that I need to process many things, and your songs help me a lot. Thanks for that. And particularly today, thank you for referring this conflict as going for much longer than from 24th February. But of course, from this date, things changed heavily, and it became really a nightmare and madness. And today, you were talking to us with your songs in the previous part, and I myself take the first song as a big dream of a future where people agree with each other and go in peace. I hope that we will see this, even though this is quite a small hope, but still, because we arrive in the end with the song "Всё как у людей." I even don't know how to translate it to English. Like,
yeah. I tried to translate it, and I have no idea.
But anyway, the idea.
It's like keep up with Joneses, but vice versa.
Yes, like you don't want, but they exist. And still, we have we are here, and thank you all guys for coming today, because I think we need to go on. We need to somehow arrive at this better future. But all this was kind of a comment and a big thank. My question is a little bit about different. In this view of importance of dialogue and processing things, today from Madam Dean, we've heard that even other democracies might be able to get something from even this bad situation like ours. So I want to ask you, maybe do you have something to say to other countries, to USA, to maybe other people from this situation? I don't know if they want to hear or not, but as a part of dialogue, I want to ask you this.
You know, nowadays you can easily see that slogan everywhere in many countries: "Be brave like Ukraine." So, but I would like to address this message to other countries too. Be brave like Ukraine. So go ahead, and don't be so scared of Putin's regime and all the things they're doing, because now I see that these guys, they behave like rednecks, like people who like street criminals, actually, and all those civilized democratic leaders and governments, they're like, wow, we never met that kind of attitude. We don't know what to do with that. So be brave. That's my message.
Thank you.
Guys, we need to be wrapping up, so thank you for your attention. Let's take 3 questions here and 2 questions there, and Ivan will try to answer them and maybe give you one of his final songs for today. Yeah, can you just ask 2 questions after each other, and Ivan will take them.
Sure. Hi, Vanya. Thank you very much, not only for your music, not only for your views, but for raising money for refugees. Thank you very much. My quick question, and very easy one, will be, are you planning to expand this charity? And if so, how?
So we're thinking about making one big gig, maybe in Istanbul, maybe somewhere else, with Manetechka as well next year. I can tell you the date or something like that at the moment, because it's a complicated process. But yes, we're gonna continue doing it.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks.
Thanks.
Hello, Anya. I also want to thank you for your art, for your position, for everything that you do. My question is not really politics related. First time I visited your concert was maybe 2008 in my hometown, Arkhangelsk in Russia. And now,
М-33.
okay.
М-33. Это могло быть только там, в Архангельске. Клуб ваш.
Да. Переходы эти после вашего концерта на русский, английский, это, конечно, сложно. So, and now you're giving all the concerts abroad. Possibly you're not going to give any concerts soon in Russia anymore. So I was wondering if you notice any difference in like the concert vibe and like the audience, like how the concerts go in other countries with like other immigrants, all of us here, expats. So if you see any difference.
You know, every place, every gig you play, it's unique in some aspect, but I can't see any serious huge difference between concerts I played in Russia and Belarus and Ukraine and Kazakhstan, or concerts I played in Europe or I'm playing here. So the vibe is similar, and it's strong and positive, and I'm super fond of it. I'm so happy doing this tour in Canada and United States. We didn't believe it could work this way, because I'm here without a band. There are only two of us, me and my sound engineer, Vladimir. It seemed the only way. It seemed the only way to do it, to come just us two, without all the band, without all the techs and all the stuff. Because we couldn't imagine so many people would come. But I'm so deeply impressed with your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you for what you do. We'll keep coming, please. Keep coming to us, and we will be going to your concerts.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Hey, sorry for keeping you guys waiting, but you got to ask the most important questions. But please, we'll appreciate if you make it quick.
My question is about communication. Almost every song you write has a message, has a unique emotion, lyrics and music. And that's obviously your main channel of communication with us. So one half of the question is, how do you form that? What comes first, the message, the music, the lyrics, or all together or randomly? And the second half is, what is your favorite channel of communication for feedback from us? This is obviously a unique moment, so thank you. But this is a rare moment. How do you usually get the feedback from your fan base?
I'm going to start with the second question, okay? Because my favorite form of communication is going on right now. So thank you for all your questions and for your attention. I'm so deeply inspired with that. But yes, it's a rare moment, and I can do it like 3 times a week or so. Normally it's social media. Of course, I don't have enough time to answer everybody, but when I see somehow some interesting message in my in personal, I try to answer something. So, and what comes first? Predominantly, it starts with some, feeling leading to the main concept of the song. Sometimes it's first line, sometimes it's an image, like with Voyager 1, like with, I don't know, It's Awesome on Mars, songs like that. First, you got that concept and the feeling, what kind of emotion the song is going to cause. And after that, you just start, like pulling it from somewhere, just centimeter by centimeter, and finally you have it all in your hands. But sometimes you may just I don't know, play a riff and record it to your phone and forget about it, and then 7 years come and you just scroll it like that. Oh wow, well, what a weird name for this file. What's that? You hear it and you understand that, wow, I'm going to write a song. Sometimes it happens like this. Some songs could be written in, I don't know, 40 minutes. Some of them, well, sometimes it takes several years. You never know.
Did you find any of these songs that would predict the future, like many of the songs you played today?
Mostly during recent years, I wrote many sad songs, and they all became like predictions. I would like to stop that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Hi, Ivan. I'm Lilia, and obviously a very big fan of your art. And I have a lot of friends from different places, and I find myself talking to them about you at least once every year, just trying to explain how amazing your art is. And I always try to translate it and give your lyrics justice, but it just never happens. It always sounds something like, well, this very important thing that happened in 2009 that refers to the thing that happened 20 years ago, and it just all gets lost in translation. So I guess my question is, would you consider writing a song in English or maybe an album at some point?
Yeah, I've got plans like this, and I'm thinking about translating some of my Russian songs into English. Not all of them are gonna be okay with that, but some are. And I think that, for example, Voyage 1 could be translated, and it could be translated and it could work. And it's also my Mars is a song like this. Sometimes you have some just you know, things in the lyrics that refer to your national culture, and of course it's gonna be lost in translation. But as well, I've got several songs that just not connected with something specifically Russian, and I'm gonna try it. Yeah.
You should. I think
Thanks.
a lot of people are missing out on your art just because they can't understand.
Yeah, I know that. It's a problem. Thanks.
Добрый вечер. I'll make it quick. I support your idea that it's very important to talk to all the generation, especially if you have family members in Russia who've been completely brainwashed and who still believe that Russia is saving Ukrainian people. Unfortunately, there are still a lot of people who believe that. So my question is, do you have any life hack how to communicate with these people, or better say, if you had an opportunity to take control over all media resources in Russia, how would you bring this message to people who believes that there is no war and, you know, Russia is doing the right thing? How would you communicate and try to deliver this message to these people?
How would you brainwash Russians?
So it's an obvious thing. I'm writing my songs, and I'm gonna release one more, which is exactly about propaganda, brainwashing, and about war doesn't exist. So it's my method is understood, I guess. Yeah. So what could I recommend? Speaking to a person who supports war, I think first thing is to be like calm, not to yell, not to argue in an aggressive manner, and I think we should first concentrate on how this war is going to affect Russians and Russia, because when you start speaking on how bad it is for Ukrainians, you lose those people at that moment. It's next step. First thing you have to explain is how this war affects them personally. And in terms of these aspects, I think a big job was made by Alla Pugacheva with her, with her post, because it was like every word there is on its place. I think we're gonna work it like that. And sign Monetочka's Telegram channel because she's doing it every day. And I'm super fond of how she's working with that. I don't have such a big resource. I don't know. She's great about it.
I'm just gonna send them to I'm just gonna send them your album and make them listen to your songs. It's a good start. One last thing, really sorry to take your time. There is one person here, he's very humble to talk to you, but he's from Belgrade and he was planning to write like a whole banner yesterday on the concert. He's very proud of this city just because you grew up here, there. I mean, but yeah, it's just something I want to say.
So nice of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. We had so many interesting questions, and Ivan had some interesting answers. I mean, without further ado, I should give the floor back to Ivan to finish up with another one of his songs, and we'll call it a close after that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. This song is called Universe is Infinite. It's based on a multiverse theory. And it's dedicated to my wife. During my Ukrainian tour in 2010, I started writing it in Donetsk. I continued in Luhansk, and I finished it in Kyiv. I'm gonna have this road again one day.
Планеты, где-то сейчас происходят те же события, но время меняет уже хоть весь мир. Если вселенная бесконечная правда, то прям следует из этого факта, что ты точно так же ждешь, когда я вернусь обратно, где-то там, в моей далекой галактике. То есть не ты, конечно. Утопию, конечно, если, конечно, все это не утопия, и вселенная действительно бесконечна. на телефоне, чтобы сыграть в пальцы ситуацию. И помимо миров повторенных полностью есть и такие, что получено отличаться. Получается, что где-то на законных созвездий есть такие версии нашего мира, где мы с тобой либо уже не близко, либо изначально прошли друг друга, либо мы там даже счастливы. Могут быть самыми разными, но они не хочу даже не прощаться. Братья среди пола, убивающий время, понимаешь, что взрослым не нужен. Он забрал уже вещи, конструктор фразы, он распечатался куклом. Но он все еще ищет детали на паспорт, он все еще ходит по кругу. Мы советуем удачи посмотреть успешную жизнь, которая нам осталась, значит случилось. Мы прикинь себя, как надо, так как тут никогда не случалось. Мы попадем туда после смерти, может быть. Если будем добрыми, хорошими, если играть между нами с тобой, тоже ты мне наскучит, ты уже в магазине прошлого, но я надеюсь, что может случиться гораздо. Я туда совершенно не тороплюсь. Я тут буду там мимо, у меня был ясно, еще сильнее, я в тебя все равно не влюблюсь. Одинокий дура. Он забрал уже вещи, конструктор фразы, он распечатал все кукол. Но он все еще ищет детали на паспорт, он все еще ходит по кругу. Одинокий дура, прошлой зимой, пустом магазине и лучше. Братья среди пола, убивающий время, понимаешь, что взрослым не нужен. Он забрал уже вещи, конструктор фразы, он распечатал все кукол. Но он все еще ищет детали на паспорт, он все еще ходит по кругу. Thank you so much.